You think you're just observing, but you're not. You probably believe something very simple about reality, that it exists independently of you, that when you look at something, a table, a wall, the sky, you are just observing what is already there, passive, detached, like a camera recording a scene that would be exactly the same whether you were watching it or not. That assumption feels so obvious. You've never questioned it. Why would you ever think in your daily experience reinforces it? You walk into a room and it's already there. You turn your head and objects don't change just because you looked at them. The world feels stable, consistent, and completely independent of your observation. You are just a spectator. But what if that's not entirely true? What if the act of observing is not passive? What if, at a deeper level, the moment you look at reality, it changes? That idea sounds almost absurd at first. It feels like something philosophical, maybe even mystical. But it's not. It comes from one of the most carefully tested areas of science. And it forces you to reconsider one of your most basic assumptions. Because the deeper you go into how reality works, the harder it becomes to separate the observer from the observed at large scales. The difference seems clear. You look at a mountain, and nothing about the mountain depends on your gaze. It doesn't shift or rearrange itself just because you noticed it. The world appears solid and independent, but that stability may be hiding something subtle, something invisible at your scale. Because when scientists began studying the smallest parts of reality, they found something unexpected. Not a small correction, not a minor complication. A fundamental shift in how observation works. At that level, the act of measuring something, of interacting with it, doesn't just reveal information, it changes the outcome. This is where your intuition starts to break, because you're used to thinking that properties exist whether you measure them or not. A ball has a position, a car has a speed. These things feel definite, fixed, already determined before you look. But at the quantum level, that assumption begins to fail. Properties don't always have definite values before measurement. They exist in a range of possibilities. And when you observe them, something happens. Those possibilities collapse into a single outcome. That doesn't mean your mind is magically controlling reality. It's not about thought or intention. It's about interaction. The moment you try to measure something, you become part of the system you're observing. You can't step outside it. You can't observe without influencing. And that's the key shift. Observation is not separate from reality. It is part of the process that defines it. This is difficult to accept because it contradicts everything you experience at larger scales. Your brain is built to assume a clear boundary between you and the world. But that boundary may not be as solid as it seems. At the deepest level, the line between observer and observed begins to blur. And once you realize that, a new question emerges. If simply observing can change what happens, then what exactly is reality before you look? The strange experiment that broke reality to understand where this idea comes from. You have to look at one of the most famous experiments in physics. It seems simple at first, almost too simple to matter. But the deeper you follow it, the more it begins to unravel everything you thought you knew. Imagine a barrier with two narrow openings in it. Behind the barrier is a screen. Now you send tiny particles, like electrons or photons, toward the barrier, one at a time. If these particles behave like solid objects, you would expect a straightforward result. Each particle passes through one opening or the other, hits the screen, and over time you get two clusters directly behind the slits. Two openings. Simple, but that's not what happens. Instead, something strange appears. As more and more particles hit the screen, they don't form two clusters. They form a pattern of alternating bright and dark bands, an interference pattern, the kind of pattern you only get when waves overlap and combine. That shouldn't be possible. Because you're sending particles one at a time. There's nothing for them to interfere with. And yet, each particle somehow behaves as if it passes through both openings at once, spreading out like a wave and interfering with itself before landing in a single spot. It's already difficult to accept. But then the experiment takes an even stranger turn. You decide to check which opening the particle actually goes through. So you place a detector at the slits, something that can tell you clearly whether the particle passes through the left opening or the right one. Now you run the experiment again. Same setup, same particles, same conditions. But this time the result changes. The interference pattern disappears. Instead of bands, you get exactly what you originally expected, two clusters behind the slits, as if the particles are now behaving like ordinary objects, choosing one path or the other. No wave-like spreading, no interference, just particles. So what changed? Not the particles, not the barrier, not the screen. The only difference is that you tried to observe which path the particle took. That's it. And somehow, that act alone changes the outcome. This is where the experiment becomes impossible to ignore, because it suggests something deeply counterintuitive. When you are not observing the path, the particle behaves like a wave, taking multiple possibilities at once. But the moment you try to measure it, it behaves like a particle, choosing a single path. The behavior depends on whether the information is being observed. That doesn't mean your eyes are doing something magical. The detector doesn't need a human watching it. What matters is that the information exists, that the system has been forced into a definite state. But the implication is the same. Observation changes what happens. Before measurement, the particle doesn't follow a single definite path. It exists in a combination of possibilities. After measurement, it does. And that shift from many possibilities to one outcome is triggered by interaction. This is the experiment that forced physicists to rethink reality, not because it was unclear, but because it was too clear. The results were consistent, repeatable, precise. And they all pointed to the same conclusion. Reality does not behave the same way when it is being observed, which leads to an uncomfortable question. If observation changes the outcome, then what exactly is happening before you look? The uncomfortable truth: observation changes outcomes by now. The pattern is impossible to ignore. The outcome of an experiment changes depending on whether you try to observe it, not in a vague way, not as a side effect, in a direct, measurable, repeatable way. So the question becomes unavoidable. What is observation actually doing? At first, you might think observation simply reveals what is already there, that a particle always had a definite position or path, and you're just uncovering it. But the results of experiments don't support that idea. Instead, they point to something more unsettling. Before measurement, the system does not have a single definite outcome. It exists in a range of possibilities. This is often described as a superposition, a state where multiple outcomes are possible at once. Not because you lack information, but because reality itself has not settled into one specific result. And then you measure it. You interact with the system. You force it to produce an answer. And at that moment, something changes. The range of possibilities collapses into a single outcome, one path, one position, one result, not gradually, instantly. This is what makes the idea so difficult to accept, because it suggests that properties you thought were fixed, like position, momentum, or path, don't always exist in a definite way before measurement. They become definite through the act of measurement. That doesn't mean your mind is creating reality. It means interaction is shaping it. When you measure something, you are not just passively reading information. You are physically interacting with the system. Light hits a particle. A detector absorbs energy. A signal is recorded. These interactions disturb the system in a fundamental way. And that disturbance is not just noise, it is part of the process that defines the outcome. This is why the idea of a perfectly passive observation breaks down. There is no way to measure something without affecting it. At the quantum level, the act of measurement is inseparable from the behavior being measured. This was something emphasized by Richard Feynman, who pointed out that trying to imagine what particles are doing when no one is looking leads to contradictions. The theory works perfectly when you focus on what can be observed, but breaks down when you try to assign definite behavior before measurement. So physics takes a different approach. It stops asking what happens between observations in a classical sense, and instead focuses on predicting outcomes. This might feel like avoiding the question, but it's actually a recognition of a deeper truth. The classical idea that systems always have definite properties, whether or not you measure them, may not apply at the fundamental level. And that changes how you think about reality. Because now, the world is no longer a collection of objects with fixed properties waiting to be discovered. It becomes a system of possibilities. Possibilities that only resolve into specific outcomes when interactions occur. This is the uncomfortable part, because it removes the idea of a fully independent reality with predefined details. It replaces it with something more dynamic, something that depends on interactions to become definite. And once you accept that, the question shifts again. If observation changes outcomes, then what exactly counts as looking? The deeper mystery, what counts as looking? At this point, it's easy to misunderstand what's happening. You might think that looking means a conscious observer, someone watching, thinking, being aware, that somehow your mind plays a direct role in shaping reality. But that idea, while tempting, is not what physics actually shows. The word observation is misleading, because what really matters is not awareness, it's interaction. When physicists talk about observing a system, they mean something very specific. A physical process where information about that system is extracted, a detector clicks, a photon is absorbed. Something in the environment becomes correlated with the state of the system. That's it. No human required. No consciousness involved. The system doesn't know. It's being observed. It doesn't wait for someone to look at the result. The change happens the moment. The interaction occurs when the information becomes embedded in the physical world. This is a crucial distinction because it removes the idea that reality depends on human perception while still preserving the mystery that observation changes outcomes. So what counts as looking? Any interaction that forces a system into a definite state. In the double-slit experiment, placing a detector at the slits counts as observation, not because someone is watching it, but because the detector interacts with the particle. It gathers information about which path was taken, and in doing so, it changes the system. Even the environment can act as an observer. Particles constantly interact with their surroundings. Air molecules, radiation, fields. These interactions can destroy delicate quantum states, forcing systems into definite outcomes without any deliberate measurement. This process happens all the time, everywhere, unnoticed. So in a sense, reality is constantly being observed, not by minds, but by interactions. And this leads to a deeper realization. The boundary between observer and system is not clear. You are part of the environment. When you measure something, you become physically linked to it. Information flows between you and the system, and that connection is what defines the outcome. There is no clean separation, no outside vantage point where you can observe without participating. This is why the idea feels so unsettling, because it removes the possibility of being a completely passive spectator. At the deepest level, you are always involved. not in a mystical sense, but in a physical one. Your measurements, your instruments, your presence, all of it becomes part of the system you are trying to understand. And yet, this still leaves an open question. If observation is just interaction, and interaction is happening everywhere all the time, why does the world around you appear so stable? Why don't you see objects constantly shifting between possibilities? Why does reality feel solid and definite, even if its underlying behavior is not? That question leads to the final realization, one that changes not just how you think about observation, but how you think about reality itself. The final realization, reality is not independent by now. The pattern is clear. Even if it still feels difficult to accept, observation is not passive. Measurement is not neutral. Interaction does not simply reveal reality. It plays a role in shaping it. So what does that say about reality itself? It means the picture you started with. The idea of a fully independent world, existing in a fixed state, whether you observe it or not, is incomplete, not entirely wrong, but not the full story. At large scales, reality appears stable and well-defined. Objects have positions. Events unfold in a clear sequence. Everything feels consistent, as if it exists independently of any observation. And for most purposes, that picture works perfectly. But underneath that stability, something else is happening. At the most fundamental level, reality is not a collection of fixed properties waiting to be discovered. It is a system of possibilities constantly interacting, constantly resolving into definite outcomes through those interactions. What you see is the result of that process, not the underlying structure itself. This is why the world feels solid, because by the time information reaches you, countless interactions have already taken place. The system has already settled into state. The possibilities have already narrowed into outcomes. You are seeing the final result, not the full range of what could have been. And this creates a powerful illusion, the illusion that reality was always that way, that things had definite properties all along. But at a deeper level, those properties may not have existed in a fixed form until interactions. This doesn't mean reality depends on your personal observation. The universe doesn't wait for you to look at it before it becomes real. Interactions are happening everywhere, all the time, shaping outcomes continuously. But it does mean that reality is not completely independent of interaction. It is defined through it. This is the final shift. Instead of thinking of reality as something that simply exists, you begin to see it as something that happens. A process, not a static structure. A network of interactions constantly producing the world you experience. And that changes your role in it. You are not outside reality looking in. You are part of the system. Every measurement you make, every interaction you create, becomes part of the unfolding of outcomes. Not in a way that gives you control over everything, but in a way that connects you to the process itself. And once you see that, the original idea feels different. The moment you look at reality, it changes. It's not just a dramatic statement, it's a reflection of something deeper. That the line between observer and reality is not as clear as it seems. And that what you call reality is not just something you discover. It's something that emerges moment by moment through interaction.